Uh-oh, what's going on?
There we go. I fixed it.
Oh, look at you.
I'm
Getting
coming
all
on up. Moving on up,
up
to the east side. Hey, we can do that. You know,
That's right.
We did a good job.
Oh my gosh.
Wild Wednesday, Wild Winter Wednesday. That's what I called it.
Right? As Wild Winter Windy Wednesday.
I thought I saw something. I
As
was like,
trash
maybe those
as
were birds.
fly.
No. And then I was like, because at first I thought it was a balloon. I was like, no, surely that was probably birds, not balloons. Oh, it's a black trash bag.
Yeah.
People, keep your trash in your car like civilized people.
So rude. So rude.
What was that movie from where the trash or the Walmart sack floats around? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I think he was like albino or something. I don't know.
Oh no. I'm not sure I got my coffee sugary enough, but oh well, huh?
Oh no. But you saw I brought sugar.
Yeah, I was quickly trying to put it in as you were talking to yourself.
Which is not abnormal. I mean, if you don't talk to yourself, I think there's something wrong with you, because you ought to be able to have a conversation with yourself, talk yourself out of stupid shit. I mean, that's the idea, right?
That's right.
I'm not real good at that. I'm okay at it.
Well, good morning.
Good morning,
is JOCO
Nona.
Vibes. As you already said, it's Wacky Wednesday. I'm Nona Reed, and we are with Sarah Arden, aka
Sarah
Red,
Reese, aka Red, aka High Octane. Some people don't know my name; they just know me by my laugh.
That's okay. I mean, I have that laugh too.
It's great.
My children call it the evil laugh, and I'm like, yeah, I have an evil laugh. I can't help it.
I don't think it's evil.
Oh, I do.
It's just
I just
it's
have
kind of like that Cheshire cat grin kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like it's that attitude.
Well, he's
Like
kind of yeah. I mean,
it's not evil. It's just I know it's coming.
Haley will go, "Oh my God, Mom, I can hear your laugh a mile away." I don't care.
I know, like, I think I talked about this before, but I used to be embarrassed about my laugh, you know, and I try to change it, but then I'm not like really laughing. And so I'm like, this is pretend laugh. This isn't even, that's like that fake smile, you know, like growing up, whenever we would take pictures, like I never smiled. And then whenever I would, it would just be like a smile with my mouth closed, like my teeth weren't showing.
Oh.
And my mom would go, "Show your teeth, Sarah." So then I created this terrible smile. And now every time, like I have to focus to not do the teeth smile. Like I go,
oh yeah.
I just straight up show my teeth, like grill right up front.
Every kid goes through that awkward stage of the smile, because I can look back at some of Dalton and Haley's and go,
like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with your face? What is that? What is on your face right now?
What
is
going on here?
Hi, Jeff Brewer. I don't think I've said good morning to you yourself before either. Glad to have you on the radio listening in live. I like your top. That's
our Jeff comes from Australia. He's listening from Australia. Yes, and I think last time he told us it was like 2:00 in the morning there. He's a
night owl.
He's definitely a night owl, but we appreciate it.
Is he from there, or is he said 2:20 a.m. over here?
See.
So are you from there, or do you just live there and just live there now? Aussie. The Aussie import. Got it. So you listen and you miss home, or you feel like you're home with these crazy wild Western women.
He listens to a couple of our shows.
I'm an Aussie.
Yeah, he's an Aussie.
Got it. My apologies.
He actually listens to a couple of our shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I love the interwebs.
Yes. See, just proves we are available
it's
anywhere
the World
you go.
Wide Web on Wild Winter Wednesday.
When Tiffany and I were in Cancun, we listened also.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Oh man,
you can listen anywhere.
My daughter told me that my ex.
Is that how you say it?
Huh?
Oi, 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 oi. Jeff, am I saying oi, oi? Am I saying it correct?
We don't want to offend you. He said
don't.
it's Thursday. It's Thursday in Australia. It's
Oh,
Thursday.
yeah,
Right?
I guess it is. Look.
Anyway, my
Oh,
daughter
I said
told
it right. Yes.
my daughter told me that my ex-husband and his wife and her oldest kid are on their way to Cancun as we speak. It's really sort of shitty.
Is your daughter not going?
No. Yeah. I mean,
whoa, wait a minute.
The younger son isn't going either. So I guess that's how they can get away with it this time.
How old is the other child?
18. And he's going into the Marines or something. So I guess this is like
okay.
Trip. But this is not
okay.
But they've gone on like several
roll of eyes.
He's done like several things in the past where like he doesn't plan it for when she's gonna be with him.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm. But it's okay. I'd rather have her anyway.
She's an awesome girl.
Yeah.
Young lady.
She adapted and overcame it. Anyway. Hashtag winning. Hashtag worth it.
That's right.
Nothing like being set free, right?
That's 100% right. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's okay. Apparently his wife keeps him happy enough to where he doesn't give me any problems, so I'm okay with that.
That's perfectly fine. Yes,
because it's not about me. If you think you're attacking me, and all you're doing is hurting the child, or you think you're attacking the ex, and you're really just hurting the child.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just keep people from doing that. Why can't we all just get along? Like, we don't even talk anyway. It's fine. But I don't understand. I think it's so neat when people can co-parent together. That's amazing.
We do. I mean, well, he's 30-something now, but we did.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse, his ex, I mean, it didn't end pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, he caught her in an affair.
Right.
And she kind of proceeded to keep dating this guy who was a big loser. And she will even tell you that to this day, because she's done with him too. Big loser. I came into the picture a little later. Of course, I didn't have anything against her. And I grew up with my parents being divorced. I grew up in 2 households. So I knew how it felt to have a stepmom and a stepdad. And I knew how it felt to have a stepdad that absolutely adored me and loved me and treated me as his own, even though my dad still does. I mean, I still have my dad in my picture, but I did not always have the best stepmoms. And so I kind of saw both worlds where my stepdad, of course, it did help that my my stepdad actually went to school. My mom dated my stepdad before she dated my dad.
Well, sometimes it's just like that, isn't it?
Right. And so they kind of they knew each other, but it wasn't like they were buddies or anything. But there was that good mutual respect for each other. And my dad respected my stepdad, and my stepdad respected my dad. And so there was always that love, but I never could get that with my stepmom. So when I came in the picture to become a stepmom,
I'm gonna do better.
I wanted to be, I idolized my stepdad and what he had done. And that was my goal. Plus, you can have love for a child that's not yours, and still have the respect for the biological parent. And
I still can't, like, I still have not been introduced to the wife.
Oh my God.
Like, and they were married before we were divorced a year. So
whoa. Okay.
Anyway,
I helped Jesse. Literally, Aaron and I, his ex-wife, became the talkers and the movers and the shakers of the relationship. Like, her and I would plan And I'm the one who got him completely it went from he got him on Wednesdays and every other weekend, and it went from the weekend that he got him from Wednesday to Sunday. So and then it came he got to claim him on taxes, and then it got to the point that she was okay with no child support
we're not
because
gonna
of
get
what we
we're
were
not gonna get to
doing.
that point. I was willing to take no child support just so we could not have anything to do with them. But
Yeah.
you know, that didn't work out. So I mean, and it's fine. I'm glad she has her father in her life.
It's gotta be a stable
head. That's the thing.
It's gotta be a stable head between all parties involved. And if there's not, if someone can't come to grips with that or be stable with like I was stable, I was okay. I had no problem having conversations with Aaron, and Aaron had no problem conversations with me.
Well,
so
that's
helps
outside of my my control, and that's okay. Like we only communicate about the kid, and that's fine. That's wonderful. At least we can do that now. I mean, that did take a year or two to get that where we could do that manageably, because it's hard. The transition is hard for everyone. I don't care
especially
if divorce is terrible. I don't care if you're happy about it, indifferent, sad, mad, angry, any of those things. If it divorce is hard, and it hurts, it tears, it hurts, and it hurts everyone involved in one way or another.
100%.
And the people that you don't think are involved are involved. You mean your friends are involved, all the sides of the family are involved, and it's just hard. It just sucks. And it doesn't matter if your kids are 3 or if they're 15,
18, 19,
or
20,
or
25.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It still sucks, and it still is hard, and it still hurts everyone.
Yep.
And so you just have to figure out how to get through that process. I didn't know we were going to talk about that today, but it's kind of good, right? Like I feel good about that. Like, it's a good subject because it's, my mom always said,
a lot of people face.
My mom always said, I don't want you girls to become a statistic. Well, we were already a statistic, number one, because our dad was so old and our mother was her age, and she was his fourth wife.
Right.
Like, we're already a statistic. We're in a technically blended family already, even though my brother was so much older than us.
We're already the Brady Bunch.
I mean, we're already a statistic. So don't put any more pressure on his mom. But Adam's already on for our little bit at the beginning of the second, for our first 10 minutes of wellness and Wednesday. And so anyway, it's just been that was a lot of pressure for a good Southern Baptist little girl that was a virgin when she got married, and married a quote unquote virgin, and all that kind of jazz. And then to say I'm gonna get divorced.
Yeah.
And to say this is what needed to happen a long time ago.
Right.
But there's nothing in the Bible about if they treat you certain ways. It doesn't tell you in black, white, or red that as a good Southern Baptist, you can say, oh yeah, that's totally right there
it's okay to.
It's right there, black and big, bold letters. It doesn't say that. And, but that's when you go back to, it's not the letter of the law, it's the spirit of the law. And like I had an encounter right before I went to court, and it was, and God showed up, and he talked to me, and he said, baby, that was never the marriage I designed for you. That was never the marriage I designed for anyone.
Right.
So like, that wasn't, I mean, from day one, it was, people forget about, they talk about the vows. Well, people didn't hold their vows. Well, because they're talking about the big heavy hitters, like number one, being faithful. What about the first 3? Do you know what the first 3 are? To love, to honor, and to cherish.
Yeah.
And everybody seems to forget that.
Right.
And they're the most important. That's why they're first.
Yeah.
And so you have to figure out how to do that first before you can even commit to being faithful. Why would you be faithful if you're not going to love somebody or honor them or cherish them? Like,
right.
Of course your partner's not going to be faithful to that because they're not getting love.
Right.
They're not being honored. They're not even being respected.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have the opportunity to make things different, like you said, for your stepkids and for your kids. And so your kids know how to navigate this subject. And now my kid can navigate this subject if ever she is in a position to, hopefully she gets to do it the supposed quote unquote right way.
Right.
But what if they have a kid? Like the person has a kid that she meets, and you just never know. And that's okay. And so it's important to know how to deal with these things.
Hey, our oldest now is 32, and he would tell you he wouldn't want it any other way. When he was younger, he probably would have told you a little different, just because he didn't like the fact that if he got in trouble at one house and then he tried to run away to the other house,
he was still in trouble.
He was still in trouble.
Maybe double trouble.
Because we all work together. But he is always, I would have taken a bullet for him if I needed to.
Right.
I would have.
Right.
And I believe this new, I can't say new because they've been married 20 something years now. But the other step parent, I'm 100% sure he would too.
Right.
Because he's a great guy. Justin is always, he's called me mom, and his mom is okay with that.
Well, and my brother was,
he used to call we'd be sitting at the baseball fields, sitting next to each other, and he'd go, "Moms."
Oh, that's funny.
Or
that's cute.
We'd be in the store and he'd go, "Mom," and we'd love to mess with the people, like when we were school shopping, because then we had our two little girls that are like 9 months apart, and yeah, we'd like to mess with them.
Well, we'll get back to this in just a few minutes, 3 minutes, I think it is, and we will regroup in 3 minutes and have some more Wild Wednesday. I can't wait. Come back in 3 minutes.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how you doing? He said, "It's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom."
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys. I just wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
I would rather have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
hey,
dude.
Nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my
love
girl.
You.
I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities.
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
I love you too.
With Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JOCO Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
JOCO Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
JOCO Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free on the Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JOCOcommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. That's the Tiffy, TheTiffie.com. Welcome back to the second half of JOCO Vibes. And this morning is Winter Wild Wednesday and Wellness Wednesday for our Wellness Minute with Adam.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Got me now?
Yeah,
yes.
there you
There we
are.
go. Good morning. How you doing, ladies?
Great. How are you?
Good. Happy New Year and all that jazz.
Happy New Year. It feels like a month of Sundays since we've seen you last.
Kind of has been.
So we're past the holidays.
Yeah.
We made it through.
Yeah,
Now,
everyone survive.
what do we do now?
Yeah.
How do we restart? It's like I feel like I've been like taking one step forward and 3 steps back. And so how do we start again? How do we jumpstart this craziness?
So when it comes to starting the year out right, what I do with all my clients is get them to essentially set their intentions for the year, right? So what do they want to accomplish in the next 12 months, where they want to be this time next year? Because the time's going to go past anyway, right? And a lot of people, what they do is they have these grand ideas, or they set these huge New Year's resolutions where they want to lose 50 pounds or get super fit or eat clean or whatever the case is, but they're not even getting up out of bed on time. So what I say to everyone, it's great to have that lofty goal, something you were trying to aim for, let's say like climbing the top of Mount Everest, right? But you got to start with putting one foot in front of the other first.
Right.
So if you're struggling with losing the weight, let's just say you're trying to lose 20 pounds this year, then let's just focus on the first thing and then build confidence inside ourselves with that. So if that means, okay, let's just get up 15 minutes earlier so we can prep breakfast, or we can do some meditation, or we can go for a walk with the dog, or whatever the case is, let's start there, because those little habits will then build that internal confidence, and then that will start to change who you are and your habits, and then eventually you'll lose the 20 pounds.
I think that that's super important to focus on the tiny little increments of increase, because I know for myself, if I say, I can no longer eat Oreos, I might eat like a whole, like half of a package. If I say I can have 3 Oreos today, I can manage 3 Oreos. Or if I say, okay, I can get up 15 minutes earlier, I can usually figure out how to do that. If I try to tell myself, okay, you're going to start working out and you're going to be up at 4:30 and you're going to go get your stuff done before you have to take your kid to school, I might do it 3 days.
Yeah. So
and then it's like, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's getting up earlier that's really killing me. I keep saying I'm going to, and I know it's the best thing. It's the best thing for us.
Yeah.
Well, there's a range of reasons to do it, right? Is to get up nice and early. But first, we got to start to go to bed a little bit earlier, make sure we're getting quality sleep.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how lofty your goal is. If you're not getting good sleep and you're not going to bed early enough, you're staying up late watching some bullshit on Netflix or whatever it is, or scrolling through your phone while you're in bed. If those are your nighttime habits, then the next morning, that version of you is going to hate the nighttime version of you, purely because you have these lofty goals, right? So one thing I suggest,
where I'm at right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just turns into a snake eating the snake's tail, and this constant like hamster wheel of wanting to do it and not doing it. So what I'd highly suggest with anyone is to start to build a routine, right? So especially like a nighttime routine, very much like maybe your kids have got one, you've got to set one up for yourself. So going to bed by a certain amount of time, have a nightly decompression routine that doesn't involve scrolling through TikTok on the phone while lying in bed, like something that's going to help set you up for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I noticed I've been watching a show on, like streaming a show, and just not stopping. And so then I can't make myself stop, because I just like, as soon as I think, okay, I'm finally sleepy, and I try to turn off the show, then it gets exciting again. And so I'm like, okay, I've got to go back to regular network television so that there's a commercial break, and then the show ends, and then it's a crappy show after that.
That's not even my problem. I'm just a night owl, so trying to get to bed earlier. Even as I'm getting older, I am going to bed a little earlier, but not early enough to get up earlier.
I mean, I've been laying there for like 3 hours and can't go to sleep, but I can't
turn your brain off.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's because I'm not using enough energy during the day, and I know that.
Do you have a suggestion on how to turn your brain off?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. One, how much caffeine are you drinking?
Not a lot, actually. I drink a cup of coffee. I mean, I haven't even had a Red Bull since middle of December, I think.
I don't even do any of those.
You know, like I drink 1 cup of coffee a day,
and I don't hardly drink. I may have
it's the ADHD.
Okay, that's fine. So anyone that is listening and drinking too much caffeine, remember caffeine has a 400-minute half-life. So if you're still smashing coffee and Monsters and energy drinks, that kind of stuff at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to be floating around your body until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then when it comes to decompressing at the end of the day, you can't just go from being super active, like watching an engaging TV show like you're watching, and then try and go turn your brain off, right? So you need that 30 minutes to sort of decompress. So number one is have a set time. So our body likes regular set times for wake ups and go to bed. So let's just say it's 10 o'clock. So if you know you want to get in bed by 10 o'clock, so you fall asleep by 10:30, then you have to have at least a 30-minute process of stepping away from blue light, which means no computer, no screens, no phone. And then you want to make sure you've got some kind of journaling going on. So you're decompressing and writing out all your thoughts from the day. So if you're busy all day and you're distracted all day, those thoughts are going to catch up with you at the end of the day. So as your head hits the pillow, all those thoughts come back rushing in.
The list you didn't complete.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. The journaling would really, I need to put my journal back next to my bed.
Yes.
So like hard copy paper, really write down every time I forgot to change the truck batteries. I forgot to do this, whatever, I need my list.
Yeah,
I need to start making my list.
100%. So what I would suggest is I call it the brain dump. So basically what you're doing is you're dumping out all the information from your brain at the end of the day. So you're writing down everything on this dot point list, and then you go through it and you cross out everything you cannot control, right? So we can only control 2 things on this planet, our thoughts and our actions. Everything else is out of our control. And then with that, what you do is you sort of prioritizing the next day, right? So if there's an electric bill you need to pay, or you've got to change out the truck battery, or whatever it is, then you can do that and you can focus on that. But if it's just floating around your brain, you're definitely not going to turn off and essentially fall asleep in time.
Yeah. Ooh, the struggle is real.
It is a struggle. My struggle is sleep too. And Adam and I have talked about this for the entire time I've known him, which has been close to 2 years now. And that's always been my greatest struggle. But I know in certain seasons I have to have something. It's like right now it's Benadryl because the mountain cedar, and if I take that, there's nothing dripping down the back of my throat waking me up in the middle of the night. So
that's
just sounded bad.
I disagree. I bet she could. I bet Todd would say something else.
The minute that came out of my mouth, I knew that sounded bad.
That went south for all of us. Well, most of us.
Sorry.
I knew it the second it came out of my mouth. Oh, and I'm just digging the hole deeper, and I wasn't even trying to. No, but I mean, you do have to shut down. Oh, look, people calling me. I do try. I am doing better at not touching my phone when I'm going to sleep and taking that, getting away from the screen time. I mean, last night we played a late game of cribbage. We were playing cards, and that was just much more relaxing, in front of the fire. And then I woke up with 2 sick boys. So, I mean, it happens, but I mean, it was something different than sitting there scrolling through or, like Adam knows, I like to play. I turn all my lights down on my phone, and I'd like to play just a brain game, but I mean, just to get my eyes sleepy. But honestly, you're going opposite because you're stressing yourself out trying to get all the numbers to fit in there if you're playing Sudoku. So it's a little it's mind numbing, but it's really not mind numbing. So anyway, so Happy New Year, Adam.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Glad I made it in here. All right, so what's our goals? What are we doing here? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so essentially what I was saying to the ladies is we have to make sure we're understanding what our priorities are for the year, right? Everyone starts with these massive lofty goals, whether it's trying to, I want to lose 50 pounds, and you've been trying to lose the last 50 pounds the last 5 years or 10 years and nothing's happened, right? So essentially we need to break it down a little bit more. Is what are you doing every single month? What are you doing every quarter? And then that will add up to losing this 50 pounds. Because as I said, most people start off with this big idea of I want to lose these 50 pounds, but then they don't focus on the little things every single week. So you win the day, you win the week, you win the week, you win the month, you win the month, you win the year, right? So if you break it down like that, it just becomes a little bit easier and more feasible.
How do you eat an elephant?
Goes. Yeah, exactly.
One bite at a time.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
right.
Adam, thanks for joining us here in the new year. Will you tell all of our listeners how to find you?
Yeah, sure. So I've sent my links, but you can find me in my Facebook group, on Instagram at The Fat Loss Coach. Or I also sent a cool little quiz for you all to take. It's the 2-minute How to Look Good Naked quiz. So if anyone wants to hit that link and fill out the quiz, and then from there I'll be in touch if you need some help.
Awesome, Adam. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, onward goals, people. Let's rock and roll together.
That's right.
All right, and we'll check in with Adam again next week and tell him how we did this week and find out what's next. Right. All right. Well, what's next right here in studio? Speaking of wellness
we have
programs,
a queen. We have a queen in the house.
We do.
Stop it.
Queen Bee Shelly Hendricks, who, by the way, who's been on her own wellness journey as well. I mean, she's hitting the gym. You're hitting it every day.
5 days a week.
5 days a week. Like, I'm so proud of you. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So I'm following your journey too, as you're getting into your own habits, and not only that, but you're inspiring, our friend Brittany. You're inspiring other people to say, okay, all right, we got to get up and get moving, people. Because you're walking roofs all the time.
Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to go into the new year, not as a resolution, but already doing it. So I started the habit several months ago of just eating clean. My motto is if I go in the grocery store and if I can't pick it up and take a bite out of it immediately, I don't need it. So anything packaged, anything canned, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
That's
hard.
a really,
yeah. So if I can't just pick it up and eat it right. So basically all produce, all fruits, all veggies, raw, and then a lot of chicken and fish. I love salmon.
Me too.
And yeah, I've been hitting the gym. Shout out to Planet Fitness in Crowley. I love your gym.
I wish we had one closer to me.
Well, it's close to me because I live on Osprey.
Yeah,
It's
it's not bad.
7 minutes, probably 8 or 9 minutes. From
Hey,
here.
that's
if
what I
they're-
was
if
doing.
they're
was
looking for-
Planet Fitness. At
If
one
they're
time.
looking for another location, we will be building Maverick Village soon on Renfro,
We
and which
need
is
one
on our
right
side
there.
of town.
We need one out
so
there.
they could come out there. I don't know.
That's
We'll have to talk to
That's
them.
where we live.
I'll have to
On
I don't know
the
if I.
good side of town.
I don't know if I got enough. I'll have enough room for them. But Shelly is joining us because we're celebrating the launch of your new business.
Yes, Queen Bee Roofing and General Contracting LLC,
But
aka Queen Bee Roofing.
But let's go backwards really quick, because you're not new to the business. So
No.
I want you to talk first about your experience in the roofing business.
Okay. So I've been in the roofing business for 5 years. My crews have anywhere from 20 to 40 years experience. I have my own commercial division and a residential crew, several of them. It was a God thing. About 6 years ago, I just dropped down to my knees. I'd spent 15 years in the medical field as a medical assistant. I'd worked for the same group of vascular surgeons for 10 years. In those 10 years, one of the surgeons that I was with straight out of residency into his private practice and grew and outgrew one office and so forth to 3 offices later. And just started
so you're
off,
accustomed to growth.
I'm accustomed to growth. It started
awesome.
off me and him. And then by the time I left him, he had 3 vascular surgeons in the private practice that I was running, 2 ultrasound techs, an office manager, and me. But in those 10 years, he had made me cry in the patient room twice in front of patients, and he got reported to the board for the way he treated me.
Oof.
And that once in those 10 years. So I was done. Just to give you an idea.
I think I actually remember you sharing the story with me after I
Yes.
first met you.
And I love to serve people. So I always had a niche and I always wanted to stay in that I didn't know where to go from there. So I went to Centennial High School in Burleson, worked in the nurse's office, It wasn't enough money. I knew that going into it, but I did it temporarily. And then I, managed a little bit at the rim for a while, and I was working a lot of hours,
which is how we met.
And I had like a breakdown.
That's why she's so familiar.
In the office.
I got it.
And I just cried out to God, and I was like, God, I'm in my mid-30s. Like, what would you have me do? Lead me. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know that you're preparing something for me greater. And one day I saw this ad, and it was in Indeed, and it was like, make 85 to 250 a year, working 20 to 30 hours a week. And it made me mad because I was like, how dare you?
Mm-hmm.
So I went on the interview, and I was like, if it's possible, I'm going to do it. Went out with them. They said, we're going out canvassing the next day. There'd been a storm. And I went out the next day and made like $7,000 my first day. Fast forward 5 years later, here I am.
I remember this. I remember this. I mean, completely. Like, I can almost completely see you the first time we met at the Rim, because you were there from opening day.
Yeah.
Right.
It's shortly after.
And I remember you coming back and telling this story about going out and because when you're going out and venturing into something new and a new journey, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. And especially when you have a fear of heights, like I do. Like, my palms would sweat, my knees would shake the first time, like 5 years ago when I first started getting on roofs, and I overcame that. And I would just pray. I was like, God, you're protect me. And I think I have a healthy fear now, which is very, very smart in this industry, is when the roof is too steep, I'll use my drone. On some commercial stuff, I'll use my drone and have my crew get up there. But I mean, I ain't scared.
I've seen a bunch of your drone footage.
Some of them have been high.
But you stepped out, and I know, and anytime you're stepping out in that moment of faith, and you're transitioning from one career to another and moving into something new, and I know you were at a point, like most people are, like, okay, I got to be able to pay the bills.
Yep.
And so I just vividly remember you going, I made $7,000 in one day. That's huge. So, I want this to be a story, and because you're going to be on here more. And if you don't know her yet, she's been the host of For the Kingdom for almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And took a little hiatus because you were going into the journey of opening this new business, but you're coming back.
Yeah.
So, so I want to continue these conversations, because if there's so many people out there that are terrified to transition, just as I am terrified to get up on some of the peak roofs that you're on. I'd be the one straddling the pitch and crawling,
scooting,
monkey crawling.
Yeah, straight up. And it's not heights. I've been to the top of the World Trade Center in New York, as a kid and as an adult, and I've been to the top of the Empire State Building, and it's not that for me, it's the fear of falling. And so it's being on the edge of things. And I figured out where that came from. And you can't get me on a roof you can't get me on a roof to try and correct that. I'm good watching your drone footage and watching you and now Brittany, who's one of your team members.
Yes.
Get out there and do it. And I shall live vicariously through you because you are the queen of roofing.
Oh, thank you. Well, you say it's not the heights for you, that you're not scared. It's going to the edge. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking, I got into roofing and I was enticed to get into roofing for the money, but it's not about that no more. Now it's about, I've learned how to serve people the same way I did in the medical field in this industry. And I think that's what sets me apart, is not only being a woman-owned business, but learning how to change the stigma that is associated with contractors. Unfortunately, there's a lot of us in North Texas, and not all of them are great. There are wonderful ones out there. I have a lot of wonderful friends that are roofers, contractors, business owners. Shout out to all the PAs and adjusters out there. But I did get my adjuster license too.
Awesome.
So yeah, I did that for educational purposes. I can't talk about that when I'm meeting with people, but I did it for education. I never worked it, but I wanted to know everything.
What makes it where you can qualify, right? Like how do I make sure that these people can qualify?
Right. And that's what I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that the insurance companies were treating the homeowners and the business owners fairly. And then, just being a voice for them. And a lot of people don't know like the verbiage to use, and it's a lot to learn. So being an advocate for them and a liaison between them and the insurance company, I love it. I love it.
Do you feel that that's one of the things that sets you apart from competition? And when I say competition, I don't I don't mean that in the way that, because there's enough business to go around.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know that when the storms hit, the roofers come out and they're like, where did these companies come from? It's like
there's 3 cards on the table by my front door.
Yeah, there's 1,000 more, roofing companies out there than before. But I mean,
a million PAs.
Yeah. But there's something different. So talk about that. What's different?
For me, okay, for what sets it apart for me is I loved where I was at Century Roofing. They were great. They were like family. But I thought, Lord, help fill my cup more so I can go to others with more to give. And Queen Bee Roofing partners with Answer International. And we give a portion of our proceeds back to help eradicate and bring awareness to human trafficking, which is near and dear to my heart. You know my story.
Always has been. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So being a survivor of that, I wanted to be able to make a difference and an impact. And I wanted to be able to provide more for, my parents and my kids and my future and my grandchildren. And so that was kind of the reason why I stepped out on faith and said, okay. And God has a way. He's got a great sense of humor, because I've always thought about it for like the past 2 or 3 years, but the timing wasn't right. So I just waited. I was faithful and I just trusted him. And I was like, when it's time, it's time. And he just lined everything up. It was like just, people that are believers in spiritual, they know when God has ordained something, it's like everything just naturally falls into place. And that's what happened for me when I got my LLC last year and when I decided to launch. So excited about that.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Because it's if you hit one, there you go. I was just showing you how to transition back. Okay. I'm really proud of you because I've watched this whole journey, and I know you've talked about it for quite a while. I want to go out, but you also, one of the things I love about you is that you also had a commitment to the company that you were working for. And that was important to you to hold up your commitment to them. And I know it was hard. I know it was hard to break away.
It was hard to break away, but this last storm season, I had ridiculous offers from people saying, hey, come work for me. Because I do a lot of social media stuff, not only with Queen Bee Roofing, but I did for Century Roofing, and I do on my own personal page. So I think that drawed a lot of other roofing companies in. So I had a lot of people trying to recruit me. And that's when I had like this aha moment. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to leave Century, it's going to be to do my own thing by myself. So that's where that came from too.
Sell it.
Yes,
Get it, girl.
So you are also, in addition to our little co-working space within JOCO Community Radio, talk about, how does that benefit you as a small business owner to be able to come in and be in a co-working space and work with us?
So when I started Queen Bee Roofing, I wanted to do everything right. I didn't want to work out of my truck. I didn't want to work out of my house. I wanted to be like legit. I wanted to have great, insurance coverage and all these things. Like I wanted to be accredited by the Better Business Bureau. I wanted to be a woman-owned business. I wanted to be hub certified. Like I'm just like ticking boxes, we got to do this. We got to do this. I wanted a space. I'm in humble beginnings, and I wanted to, I don't need my own office, and I love the energy up here. So I was like, you know what? It was a God thing. I was like, you know what? I could get some space up at JOCO Radio, and that works out perfectly because I take my business very serious. It's my baby. So I wanted to have a professional setting. If someone wants to come in and they want to sit down, and they might not want me to come to their house, they might want to come to me and talk about shingle colors or go over the scope of work from the insurance. I wanted a professional setting to bring them to. So although I might not be here every day, I know that I have a safe space to where I can invite, like I have today. I'm doing a contract signing today up here at 11 a.m. I wouldn't want to do that at a restaurant, or it's loud, or if they want to come, I want to give somebody the option to come to me if they want that, and to let them know, hey, I'm serious. Like I'm in this for the long run.
I love it, and we have a conference room here that that all of our coworkers can use, and we have space open, and we do have one private office available, and everything's affordable, and it's month to month.
Yeah, that's what I loved, is the affordability, and that you have that conference space, because I already have one salesperson or project manager, but I've had a lot of women reach out to me, and they're like, hey, like I would love to get into, I'm like, come to my office. We can sit down at the conference table and we can do some training.
It makes a big difference. And we keep a mag lock, so you get a security key card. So it's completely secure in here all the time. So if you wanted to work late, you can work late, and there's cameras that, are there to keep people safe. And And I love it because it gives all of us an opportunity to collaborate with each other and brainstorm.
Yep.
And at the same time, we can grow together. So, it's affordable. So it's $250 a month for a desk, and that's all inclusive. That includes all of your utilities, your Wi-Fi, your paper, your printing,
refrigerator.
Refrigerator.
Microwave,
you don't get the
bathroom,
refrigerator, but
small things add up.
Coffee and water are included, and again, you have access to the conference room as well, and
a big copy machine. I love that thing.
It's really big. Yeah. Big,
I do love
big
that copy machine.
Yep.
Like it'll do so many things.
That really sells. The big copy machine. No, but I mean, small businesses need a place to grow. I mean, that's the great thing about co-working. My sister owns Ensemble Co-working in Fort Worth, and she's the first woman-owned co-working space in DFW. She's been wildly successful, and tons of awards and everything else, and we've got this space, and I was like, let's share it. Let's help people grow here, because until we launch what we got going in Maverick Village here in the next year, this is what we want to do. All right, before we go, tell everybody where to find you on Queen Bee Roofing.
So you can go to queenbeeroofing.com, or you can find me on all social media platforms except Twitter, but I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Queen Bee Roofing. That's where you're going to find me. all the platforms.
Shelly Hendricks, check her out, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Thanks to Adam Smith again. Be kind and God bless.
Bye.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments,